Welcome to The Explainer. Imagine for a second that the oldest stories in human history aren't just, myths from some forgotten past. What if ancient beings, literally figures who have outlived entire civilizations, are actually walking among us right now? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating concepts in Hindu mythology, the existence of 8 immortal beings who have been silently watching human history unfold.
It's a pretty tantalizing premise, right? But look, we aren't talking about sci-fi or comic book superheroes here. In Hindu tradition, immortality isn't some fantasy. It's a profound spiritual reality for a very select group of individuals. These beings aren't just sitting up on thrones in the clouds somewhere. No, they are the silent witnesses to the evolution of humanity living right alongside us.
So let's get right into it with part 1, the Eternal Watchers, beings who outlive civilizations. The word itself actually tells a really fascinating story. Chiranjivi comes from the Sanskrit words chiram, meaning long, and jivi, meaning lived. Now, in Sanatan Dharma, most souls are bound to this endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, a concept known as samsara. But the Chiranjivis, they're completely exempt. They've been around for literally thousands of years, totally unbroken by the physical death that, claims the rest of us.
So, who exactly makes up this legendary roster? Here's the roll call. We've got Hanuman, Ashwatthama, King Mahabali, Sage Vedavyasa, Vibhishana, Kripacharya, and Parashurama. Traditionally, you'll hear this group referred to as the 7 Immortals, or Ashta Chiranjeevis, but the brilliant boy sage Markandeya is also widely included as the 8th. But why exactly are they still here? Let's decode the cosmic clock and understand yugas and dharma.
The absolutely crucial piece of the puzzle here is a concept called dharma. Basically, dharma is righteousness, justice, and the fundamental cosmic law that holds the entire fabric of the universe together. So these immortals aren't just hiding out trying to avoid death. They actually have a job to do. They're the ultimate eternal guardians of dharma, tasked with making sure the universe doesn't just completely lose its balance.
To understand their timeline, you have to know that Hindu cosmology is divided into 4 massive eras, or yugas: the Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and finally the age we're in right now, the Kali Yuga. And what makes the Chiranjeevis so unbelievably extraordinary is that they originate from entirely different ancient eras, yet they've all converged right here, right now, in the present, during this final and darkest age of the Kali Yuga. But eternal life isn't always the amazing blessing we might imagine. That brings us to immortality, gift or curse, the duality of eternal life.
On one side of the spectrum, you have Lord Hanuman. For him, immortality was a joyful, fully conscious choice. He was actually granted a boon, but chose to remain on earth for as long as the name of Lord Rama is chanted, living this beautiful life of pure devotion and service. But on the exact opposite end, you have the warrior Ashwatthama. For him, immortality is an agonizing, unending punishment for some truly horrific wartime crimes.
The history here gets incredibly dark. During the Great Mahabharata War, totally driven by grief and vengeance, Ashwatthama murdered the 5 sons of the Pandavas while they were sleeping in their tents. And for this unforgivable act, Lord Krishna cursed him with a terrifying fate. His body would never heal, his wound would always fester, and his soul would never, ever find peace. He's literally doomed to wander the earth, isolated and in constant physical pain until the very end of the age.
For the other immortals, eternal life is really a direct reflection of their deepest karmic actions. King Mahabali was blessed for his profound humility and sacrifice. Markandeya, amazingly, was destined to die at 16, but his intense devotion to Lord Shiva actually stopped the god of death in his tracks. Vibhishana was rewarded for choosing justice over his own demon brother Ravana, and Kripacharya got eternal life for his unwavering impartiality as a royal teacher. So their endless lives are the ultimate cosmic consequences of their choices.
Which brings us to a really thrilling question. Tracking the hidden immortals, rumored sightings, and secret locations. If these ancient beings are alive today, where in the world are they hiding? Well, let's map out an investigator's itinerary based on rumored sightings and ancient texts. Our search is going to take us from the freezing highest peaks of the Himalayas, down through the dense forests of the Narmada River, and all the way over to the sacred Mahendragiri Mountains. The suspense of where these beings reside right now is woven so deeply into local folklore. Starting way up in the remote peaks of the Himalayas, we find the rumored home of the sages Vedavyasa and Kripacharya. And remember, Vyasa is the legendary author who actually compiled the Vedas and wrote the Mahabharata itself. It's believed that they reside up here in unseen, astral meditation, continuing to guide humanity's spiritual wisdom far, far away from the eyes of ordinary people.
But if you travel to the Narmada River or check out ancient sites like the Asirgarh Fort in Madhya Pradesh, the stories take a much, much darker turn. These places are said to be the endless wandering grounds of the cursed Ashwatthama. And honestly, eerie sightings are still reported around there to this day.
Priests at local Shiva temples will often talk about finding fresh flowers left overnight, and locals pass down these incredibly chilling stories. They describe running into a towering man with a bleeding wound right on his forehead, just endlessly wandering the desolate forests and ancient ruins, forever seeking a peace he just can't have. It's spooky stuff.
In a really comforting contrast to Ashwatthama's torment, we can head south to Tamil Nadu, specifically to Gandhamadana Mountain. Tradition says Hanuman is present wherever Lord Rama's name is chanted. And on this particular mountain, there's a temple holding sacred rocks that bear these giant footprints. Footprints that locals firmly believe were literally left behind by Lord Hanuman himself.
And then we have King Mahabali. While he currently resides in the netherworld of Sutala, his immortality came with a very special clause. He's allowed to visit his people once a year. Today, this massive, joyous return is celebrated across the Indian state of Kerala as the incredibly vibrant festival of Onam. It's just amazing how this ancient cosmic lore is still fully alive and celebrated by millions in modern times. So, they're waiting, watching, and wondering. But what's the endgame? Let's look at the ultimate cosmic reset, the Doomsday Clock and the 10th Avatar.
The absolutely crucial point to understand is that they aren't just killing time here. They are bound by a very specific cosmic mission. They're essentially waiting for a world-altering event that will trigger their final, most important duty, a duty that's going to restore balance to a totally corrupted world. According to this cosmic doomsday clock, we are currently living in the Kali Yuga. When this age finally reaches its end, prophecy says that the 10th avatar of Lord Vishnu, Kalki, will arrive. This is exactly the moment the immortals have been waiting millennia for. They're going to step out of the shadows to assist Kalki, clear out the corruption, and trigger the ultimate cosmic reset, bringing the whole world back to the Golden Age, the Satya Yuga. Notice how drastically their roles are going to shift. Right now, they're guiding from the shadows, or suffering, or just locked in deep meditation, but their future role is completely active. Take Parashurama, the fierce warrior sage. He's literally waiting in the mountains right now, specifically so he can become the martial guru to train the Kalki avatar in warfare when that time finally comes. Only then, when the cosmic cycle resets and true peace and dharma are entirely restored, will the monumental duty of these 8 immortals finally be complete. Their unimaginable lifespans are a burden of epic cosmic proportions, one that only ends when the universe itself gets a total fresh start. Which leaves us with one final haunting thought. If these legends hold true, these silent witnesses are out there right now, woven into the very fabric of our world. So, the next time you visit an ancient temple, or maybe find yourself alone in a quiet ancient forest, ask yourself, have you ever felt the subtle presence of an ancient watcher? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. And hey, keep your eyes open.